There's an old man in northern Michigan who has not come home empty in 11 years. 11 years. Every single trip. Rain or shine, summer or winter, he catches fish. He does not own a fish finder. He does not own a trolling motor or a fancy bass boat. He fishes from the same aluminum John boat his father left him back in the 80s. His tackle box has 6 hooks, a spool of line, and a jar of homemade dough bait inside. Everyone at the bait shop thinks he is the luckiest man alive on the water up there. He is not lucky. He follows a 4-pillar method that his grandfather taught him on a lake in the Upper Peninsula when he was 9 years old fishing for the first time. A method that was old when his grandfather learned it and ancient when it reached him. Today I am going to break down all 4 pillars and explain the science behind each one. This is not a trick. This is not a hack. This is a complete system that works every time. Stay until the end, because the 4 pillars connect to each other in a specific way. And if you miss the connection, you lose the entire advantage the system gives you. Welcome to American Fishing, the channel that uncovers what the industry buried. If you're new here, hit subscribe and the bell, so you never miss a secret we dig up. Pillar number 1, read the signs that nature is giving you right now for free. The old-timers never checked a weather app. They read the world around them instead. They watched the ants. When ants march in organized lines, rain is coming toward you. Rain means the barometric pressure is dropping, and that changes everything for fishing. They watch the birds. When birds fly low, the pressure is dropping fast overhead. When birds fly high, the pressure is rising, and the fish slow down their feeding below. When they watch the smoke, when campfire smoke sinks to the ground, instead of rising up, the pressure is at its lowest point. The fish are at their most aggressive right then. Here's the science behind it. When barometric pressure drops, the fish swim bladder expands. That expanded bladder makes the fish uncomfortable, and it feeds aggressively to compensate. Low pressure days are when the biggest fish in any lake bite the hardest and most reckless. The old-timers could look at the sky for 30 seconds and know if today was a fishing day. No barometer needed, no weather app needed. Nature was broadcasting the answer all day. Researchers at the University of Illinois confirmed that fish feeding peaks correlate directly with barometric pressure drops measured at the lake surface during multi-year field studies. The science proved what the old-timers already knew from a lifetime on the water. The industry would rather sell you a $200 barometer for your base boat than teach you to watch ants and birds that have been forecasting for millions of years. But you're about to understand why they do not want you to know any of this at all. I put this pillar and 12 more techniques inside the angler's vault for you. The complete guide is waiting at the first link in the description right now. But stay with me, because pillar 1 alone is not enough to catch fish every time. It takes all 4 pillars working together, and the next one is the most powerful of all. Pillar number 2, follow the moon, not the clock that sits on your kitchen wall. The old-timers did not fish by the clock. They fished by the moon over their heads. And there is a scientific reason for this that most anglers have never heard of before. Fish do not operate on a 24-hour cycle like humans do every single day. They operate on a 24-hour and 53-minute cycle tied to the moon. That means their peak feeding window shifts forward by roughly 53 minutes daily. If the fish were biting hard at 7 in the morning today, then tomorrow the peak bite will be at 7:53. The day after that, it moves to 8:46, and so on. This is called lunar theory. John Alden Knight documented it in the 1930s. Knight found that fish have 4 feeding windows every single day linked to the moon. 2 major windows of about 2 hours each when the moon is directly overhead or underfoot. 2 minor windows of about 1 hour each when the moon is on the horizon rising or setting. The old-timers on the Great Lakes knew these windows by feel from decades on the water. They did not need an app. They watched the moon and knew when to be ready with the line. New moon phase produces the most aggressive feeding of any phase in the entire cycle. Over 90% of state record catches were made during new moon or full moon phases. When you combine a lunar major period with dawn or dusk, you hit the ultimate feeding zone. That is when the old man in Michigan catches his fish every single time without fail. He does not even check what lure to tie on until he has confirmed the moon position, because the best lure in the world thrown during the wrong window catches absolutely nothing, and the worst bait thrown during the right lunar window still catches fish consistently. The moon controls the feeding schedule. Everything else is just details around the edges. Pillar number 3, prepare your spot days before you ever fish it with a hook. The old-timers never showed up to a spot cold and expected the fish to cooperate. They chummed the spot 3 or 4 days before the trip at the same exact time daily, cracked corn, old bread, chicken feed, anything cheap thrown in the same place every day. What they were doing was training the fish to expect food at that spot at that hour. Fish have location memory. When they find easy food at a spot, they return every day. After 4 days of chumming, the old man arrived with his hook, and the fish were already there. It was not luck. It was conditioning that took patience, but worked every single time. Farm pond fishermen in Kentucky and Tennessee have been doing this for over a century. They would chum the same corner of the pond every evening after supper without fail. By Saturday morning, when they fished that corner, the bluegill were already waiting. The tackle industry wants you to believe you can show up cold and catch fish on impulse. They sell lures designed to trigger reaction strikes from fish that are not even feeding, but no reaction strike can compete with a fish that is already actively looking for food. A bag of cracked corn costs $2 at any feed store and lasts the entire month. That $2 investment creates more bites than a $50 crankbait ever will. The old-timers spent $2 on corn and caught more fish than anglers spending hundreds. Pillar number 4, be invisible to the fish, completely invisible in every possible way. This is the pillar that separates the old-timers from every modern angler on the water. They understood that fish detect 3 things that reveal your presence from far away. First, vibration. Fish have a lateral line that detects movement through the water. Every footstep on the bank sends vibrations through the ground into the water below. Every clunk of a tackle box on the boat floor sends a shock wave to every fish nearby. The old-timers moved like ghosts. They placed their feet softly on the bank every step. They never dropped anything in the boat. They set things down gently without exception. That silence was not personality. It was strategy that kept fish calm at their spot. Second, shadow. When your shadow falls on the water, the fish sees a predator above. Herons, hawks, ospreys, everything that hunts fish from above casts a shadow first. The old-timers always faced the sun, so their shadow fell behind them, away from the spot. Yes, it meant squinting, but it also meant the fish had no idea they were even there. Third, line visibility. A shiny new line catches sunlight and flashes underwater. The old-timers rubbed their line with mud from the bank to kill the factory gloss. One passed through the mud and the line became truly invisible in the water column below. These 3 rules together made the old man a ghost that the fish could not detect. No vibration, no shadow, no visible line. The fish had 0 warning he was there. Now here is the part that makes this entire system so powerful when you put it together. The 4 pillars are not 4 separate tricks. They are one connected system working. Pillar 1 tells you which day to fish. Nature says low pressure and you go right then. Pillar 2 tells you which hour to fish. The moon says the feeding window is open now. Pillar 3 guarantees the fish are at your spot. Days of chumming trained them to wait. Pillar 4 guarantees the fish do not know you are there. You are invisible completely. The right day plus the right hour plus conditioned fish plus invisible angler equals fish. Every single time, not most of the time, every time without exception when done right. That is how the old man in Michigan has not come home empty in 11 straight years. He stacks all 4 pillars on top of each other and the result is inevitable every trip. And if you want the complete arsenal with the other 12 techniques the old-timers hid, remember, it is all inside the angler's vault at the first link in the description below. Let me recap the 4 pillars so you can start using this system on your next trip out. Pillar 1, read nature. Ants marching, birds flying low, smoke sinking means go fish now. Pillar 2, follow the moon. Fish feed on a solar cycle, not on a human clock schedule. Pillar 3, chum your spot days before. Train the fish to be waiting for you already. Pillar 4, be invisible. No vibration, no shadow, no shiny line, no trace of you at all. Nature tells you the day. The moon tells you the hour. Chumming trains the fish to wait. Invisibility guarantees they never know you're there until the hook is already set. Your grandpa followed all 4 without reading a single book or watching a single video. He learned them from his grandfather on a riverbank somewhere, and they just worked. The tackle industry tried to replace all 4 pillars with $2,000 of gear, but a $2 bag of corn, a sharp hook, and a clean shadow still outperform a bass boat. If this video changed how you think, hit the like button right now for the channel to grow. Send it to someone who comes home empty and blames their gear every single time they go. Subscribe to American Fishing and hit the bell for the next secret that is coming soon. Tell me which of the 4 pillars you think will make the biggest difference for you. I want to hear every story. Tight lines, and see you in the next video.